All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY Live every Tuesday. Glad you guys can make it. Those of you who are going to catch it on the replay, um, well, let's hope you catch it. And you know me, I'm going to dive right into the topic: current events in the trades. Sometimes um, when you're doing a certain work out there in the world, you wonder if you're making an impact, if you're getting through to people. Um, and sometimes it seems like nothing's happening, right? But every now and then you get some confirmation. You got to, from wherever to say, hey, look, man, you're on the right track. You are making a difference. You are making an impact. And every now and then I'll get a comment that actually it's someone acknowledging the work that I do, the work that I put out here, because I do consider it a work, almost like my life's work in a sense. Um, and you get even those little comments or or an article you read can really let you know, hey, look, man, you're doing a good job. You don't necessarily need somebody to come pat you on the back or anything like that, but it's always good to get some kind of affirmation or acknowledgement, I should say, about what you're doing and how it's making a difference. And actually, I get it all the time in the comments when somebody is asking a question or is thanking the channel for giving them some advice on something. And yeah, so that's always good, right? That's one of the reasons I do this. But I came across an article recently that really drove home what I do, right? It really said, I was like, man, this article is it about me or what? No, of course it wasn't about me, but it definitely, you know, drove home the point that I try to make on my lives on this channel all the time is that, you have options in the trades, and no, the trades are not the only, the only options. Because I read something earlier today online, and there was a guy asking, why is everybody pushing the trade so hard on people? And his logic was, well, if everybody gets a job, if everybody goes into the trades, then my wages are going to drop, which is, I thought that was kind of funny, actually. And, yeah, it makes sense, supply and demand, right? But, you know, he's not thinking about his kids who may go to college and depend on him to pay the bill, right? To foot the bill, the college bill or tuition or whatever, and the debt that he may have to go into as a parent or a guardian of someone going to getting a formal education in these universities. Hey, Jeremy, good to see you again, man. I'm good. How you doing, Jeremy? Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, he's not thinking about that, right? When his little kids grow up and say, look, I don't want to be a construction worker. I don't want to be in the trades. I want to be a doctor, a lawyer. And then he has to figure out how he's going to foot the bill for that. So, there's two sides to every story, right? So, once again, I just push the trades because it's a good option. It's not the only option, but it's definitely a viable option for a lot of people who don't see a formal education as their road to happiness. Yeah, so I came across this article, guys. I'm gonna read it to you. The kind of it was a good read. I'll jump into it right here. It says this was off the site Higher Dive, I think that's the name of it. Yeah, higherdive.com. And it says skilled trades gain traction with Gen Z. A report finds. Anybody know what Gen Z is? Let's see. I should have looked it up before. What age range is Gen Z? Can somebody tell me? Let's look it up real quick. I don't even know what I am, to be honest. And I've been around a minute, so Gen Z. Jeremy, could you tell me what Gen Z is? What's the age range for Gen Z? Gen Z years. Here it is. Gen Z, generally defined as people born between 1997 and 2012. Okay. However, the exact years can be debated. All right. So these are like, the young folks. Okay. Barely over 20 years old. So yeah, it says skilled trades gain traction with this group, right? People. I said about 9 in 10 Gen Z graduates said learning a skilled trade can be a better route to economic security than college. Um, and let's dive a little deeper into that. Anybody want to guess what the reasoning for that is? Why these young people are finally, or at least being, awakened to the fact that the trades are a viable option for them, to make it in life, and as far as economic security and raising a family or whatever, they're really looking at that as an option. So somewhere down the line, somebody got through to them. I wonder who that could be. I would like to think that people like myself who are doing this kind of work online is the message that I push is getting through to them. Right? It's not obviously it's not just me, but there are a lot of people online doing a lot of great work when it comes to the trades, and being that social media is so big right now, you can't help but think that that's the reason, and you would be exactly right, because it says social media is increasingly driving this interest in the skilled trades careers. Okay, that's what it says. Among members of Generation Z, generally defined as people born between 1997 and 2012, social media is the second largest driver of Gen Z career paths. So it's not just trades, right? Social media is one of the biggest marketing channels for everything, right? Including steering someone down a career path. So it's a very powerful instrument, powerful tool if used correctly. There's a lot of, I would say, garbage out there on social media, but that comes with the territory, right? Let's see what else it says here. 55% of Gen Z respondents are now saying they are considering a career in the skilled trades. That's up 12% from last year. 2 out of 3 Gen Zers say social media has made them more interested in the trades, according to Thumbtack. I guess that's a survey company or something. Says which surveyed about 1,000 Gen Z respondents in July. Now this article is from I think it was written in or at least posted in October 2024. So it just came out. Right, it's pretty recent. This report also found that the 93% of the Gen Z graduates and 80% of the parents surveyed said learning a skilled trade can be a better route to economic security than college. Okay. It's a sign of the times as well, guys. I mean, people are looking at careers that won't saddle them with debt, where they have to spend the rest of their lives paying it off. They're looking at careers where the barrier to entry is not as difficult, and not as slow to achieve. And that's what the skilled trades offer. You're not gonna pay, of course you're gonna, for some trades you're gonna have to fork out some money, but it definitely doesn't compare to what you'll be forking out for the rest of your life in the form of debt payments, student loan payments, and all that stuff. And so that's why it's not just the kids looking at it, it's the parents steering their kids towards this direction, saying, hey, this is an option. Okay. The Thumbtack report comes amid labor shortages, and I always talk about labor shortages on my lives, and the how that is just a major thing out here right now, and the pandemic actually worsened that because a lot of people retired, leaving these big gaping vacancies in the trades. So it's just like it's wide open. It's wide open. A problem made worse by early retirements during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. It said these findings could also be good news for both Gen Z and our communities. Their interest in the trades will help to fill much needed gaps as plumbers, electricians, contractors, building the much needed infrastructure and housing supply. Yeah. And we know there's a housing shortage as well, and there's economic reasons for that. So yeah, I mean, it's just like the perfect storm, right? It's the perfect soup to get into some kind of trade, some kind of skill. And it doesn't mean you can't also be a doctor or whatever else you want to be, a lawyer. I say, when you get time, or if you can, take a 6-month course on something, right? Taking a DIY course, so you won't have to come out of pocket all the time to do small jobs around the house, right? So yeah, so when I saw this article, I was pretty pleased. And then it goes in, it gives a guy who is giving an example of what it did for him. I'm not going to go through all that. Just wanted to touch on this article, guys, that that what I preach on this channel is getting through. It's finally, it's getting through to people. And, because the economic times and the economic climate demands, right? It demands something like this to happen, where people start to wake up, and, it's almost like a survival tactic, right? On the skilled trades, hey, it's been a survival tactic for me for many years. It paid my bills and, kept me afloat. So anyway, on to other things. I just want to cover that. Let's see. We'll go back here. On to other. Now, on another note, guys, I want to kind of talk about what else is happening in the world of building, and given the current administration policies, how that's affecting that world. And it's not, some people can see it as good, some people can see it as chaotic. It all depends on what side of the aisle you're on, or your motives and how you view things, your political bent. I'm not here to debate all that. Just want to kind of give you guys some current events as to what's happening. Came across another article that says contractors scramble to stay on top of Trump's new policies. Builders must stay up to date with the new administration's rapidly evolving directives that cover everything from DEI to funding and all of that. Okay, and these are hot button topics when it comes to the building trades, at least. We know the whole immigration issue is front and foremost. The DEI issue as well. It's a very sensitive topic, but I would say that this administration is really laying the hammer down more than any other ones that I've experienced in its in its first few months, and or first month, or whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of programs being slashed, a lot of things being dismantled that people feel that's unfair. DEI being one of them. You can leave your comments about that if you must. And by the way, guys, there's the thing about social media and these topics, when you discuss them in a public setting, like I'm doing right now, is that you're really going to see what people think. I'm not going to say the comment section is the barometer for the rest of the world, but it definitely gives a reflection of a certain percentage of the population, whatever the opinion is. And, it really makes you think hard about what it might have you looking at your neighbor and saying, damn, I wonder if they're the ones in the comment section saying that, or, but I'm not trying to be funny, but, it really, when you're behind a screen, or whatever you want to call that, and you're anonymous, people really say what they really feel. And the good thing about that is we really know how you feel, and that gives, that's a good platform for a healthy discussion. And of course, as we know, the comment sections is not always a healthy discussion. It can go downhill from there, but that's the you gotta take the good with the bad, right? Anyway, so a lot of things are being slashed here. It says the Trump administration early issuance of numerous new policies requires organizations to carefully self-audit existing programs, monitor for new agency guidance, review the terms of existing grants and other financial assistance programs, keep a record of costs, and remain in compliance with new contractual terms. Now, that sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo right there. But as I did my research on some of this stuff, it seems like the underlying basis for all these changes and the dismantling of these programs is to get rid of what the administration thinks is unfair policies like DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. In the administration's eyes, that's unfair, right? But these policies were put in place precisely because things were unfair already, right? So they wouldn't exist if certain things are already unfair. But anyway, in any case, all this stuff is getting trashed in favor of what's being called a merit-based, system, right? A merit-based system where, I guess, based on your merits, you're gonna, people are gonna be chosen based on their merits. But in this country, that didn't work before. You have sometimes overqualified individuals being passed over for less qualified individuals because of certain reasons, and that's why the DEI came in the first place. So, but I think everybody sees what's happening here. But what's funny is you have see, this is what happens when you try to please two masters, right? You have these big companies, I don't have to name names, they're out there, that are trashing their DEI programs for fear of, I would say, for fear of being seen as, against, the administration, or, traders, or whatever you want to call them. And so in order to keep, their bottom line safe, they're trashing these programs that helped a lot of people that wouldn't have been helped otherwise. And it's a really bad look. But hey, this, it's happening right in front of your eyes. And I think I think it's a good thing, right? It really shows the power, right? If you didn't see it before, it really shows the power of the almighty dollar. And yeah, people have to survive, and there's going to be collateral damage, and the collateral damage is anybody who benefited from DEI programs, whether you're in the trades or whether you're in whatever industry that you're in. It's happening across the board, and they're cleaning house, at least what they consider cleaning house, right? To bring things back to what it used to be, right? Which most likely is going to end up being an unfair playing field, but they call it merit-based. It's happening right in front of your eyes. And I don't know, what do you guys think about that? But as far as in the building trade, says President Donald Trump told federal agencies to stop dispersing Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act and Inflation Reduction Act funding, okay? Throwing those projects into limbo. Says the Unleashing American Energy Directive's precise implications may not be fully understood. So I guess that's one of his executive orders. While it seems to target electric vehicles and certain energy efforts, the uncertainty itself is likely to disrupt infrastructure and climate projects. Well, we know how it feels about that. The executive order also cut back the White House's National Environmental Policy Act rulemaking powers and aims to speed up permits for energy infrastructure projects powered by oil, gas, nuclear, coal, hydropower, and biofuel. So just those last few sentences I just read to you is telling you that, which I don't understand. If you have a guy like Elon Musk who's, a good portion of his wealth was created off of electric vehicles, my understanding. You have, and if he's such a significant or crucial part of the administration right now, he's allowing, or is he behind cutting back this electric vehicles and funding? That's wow. That's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of confusing there. In favor of, propping up the staples of energy, which is oil, gas, nuclear, coal, and hydropower. Um, a lot of which people, they consider, what people consider, or are very high polluting industries, right? In terms of the environment. So once again, it's a rollback. All this stuff is being rolled back. Um, Corporations are protecting. They're using a guy like Trump to protect their interests, which, I mean, Biden. I mean, it doesn't matter who's in office, Trump or whoever. Everybody does it, right? They're going to use who's ever in office to protect their interests as best they can. And depending on the ideology of the administration, that's going to depend on which way it goes. Right now, we see it going back instead of where it was going before. So it says that same day, Trump also signed several orders aimed at eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion priorities of the federal government set by President Joe Biden. Let me see if I can skip down and talk more about the. Let's see how it's going to affect the building trades. Yeah, because a lot of these infrastructure funding agencies are being dismantled, or at least taking away funding from the building industries, and that's definitely going to affect them. Which brings me back to what I was talking about before: how the contractors, how are they going to deal with it, right? What are they gonna do when their projects are getting stalled because they don't have the money to finish them, right? So it's going to be a lot of buildings just sitting there unfinished. I don't get the logic of all of that, but for some reason that's what's going on. It says disruptions in cash flow to these projects will create uncertainty, raise several potential impacts, including project delays and cancellations and various legal and contractual issues and continuing payment obligations despite the funding freeze. So, could somebody please explain to me why you would, freeze the building of infrastructure? Are you just cleaning house, getting rid of who you feel is not with your program, and then replacing them to once again at some point resume these projects? I mean, but some of this stuff is not just federal. It's not a federal building projects. These are private businesses that are going to be without funding to continue these projects. So they're going to be stalled. So I guess that's the collateral damage I'm talking about here. Do they really care about you as a private business if they can do something like that? All right. But this is what people voted for. All right, what civil contractors must know. So listen up, civil contractors. In some cases, contracts or grants may be terminated if they are not aligned with the new administration's priorities. What are those priorities, guys? You got to find out what those priorities are. If you're not aligned with them, you may face the music. In that scenario, recipients and contractors should consult with counsel about their legal rights. Construction contractors will also need to review and make changes to their compliance programs based on new presidential directives. Federal contractors should also be aware that the scope of these orders will initially present a legal gray area that is subject to interpretation. Yeah, so you got a lot of people sitting on the edge of their seat. A lot of people probably took out loans. Investors probably took loans out, and now they may not be able to at least pay back the loan, even that, or finish these projects until they go through all these legal hoops to find out if they comply or not. So yeah, it's just the state of affairs right now. So let me see here. All right. Let's see. Perigo Left Notes, how you doing? Says we need both. Yes. Right. You need. I'm assuming you. I'm going back to the chat. Sorry, guys. I wasn't really in the chat. It's kind of just moving along there. But I'm assuming Perigo Left Notes, you're talking about the trades and formal education. Yes, we do need both. We don't just need people that are building things. We need everything else. I just, one thing was pushed more than the other, and I think that created an imbalance where now you have a lot of people that are in debt. Because at some point, a college education became a marketing PR stunt that corralled many individuals into what they into an institution that by the time they got out there, they didn't have anything to they didn't have any job to go to, right? But they did have a lot of debt, so the trades can kind of offset that. All right, J Mac. Hey J Mac, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Hello, whosoever's. There you go. Can I be a mod, brother? Blessings. Yeah. You can be. I never had a mod. I don't even know if I have enough people coming in my lives to even need a mod, to be honest with you. But yeah, you can definitely be a mod. You can definitely be a mod. As a matter of fact, let me see. I don't even know how to make people a mod, J Mac. To be honest with you, let me click on this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find out, J Mac. If you come on the next live, then we'll see what's happening. Appreciate that though. Good looking out for that question in itself. I appreciate it. Berger Lines says working in corporate and pursuing a side career is a perfect balance. Yes, absolutely. Yes, it is. And we need that. We need that in society. We need it all. You know what I mean? Gumbo, good to see you. Good to see you, Gumbo. Salute, King. I appreciate you. Salute back to you, King. Thanks for dropping by and hearing me rant, hearing me talk. But yeah, guys, we'll see what this new administration brings in terms of how everything plays out and how these policies are going to affect us in the long run. I mean, even in the short run, some of these new policies like slashing of DEI, that's in favor of more merit-based systems. I think it's just a fancy way of saying, look, there's certain people, we don't want to give them a chance anymore like they had. And so we're going to reestablish the systems we had and put it under another name. That's my thoughts on that. Whatever, I could, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong about it. Tell me if you get another take on that, what's happening out there in the world. Okay. But anyway, guys, that's the live for tonight. I appreciate all you guys coming in. And hopefully you got something from this. And stay tuned for the Thursday's content. I put a video out every Thursday, a tutorial of sorts, or an interview with somebody in the trades or something around that. And if you want to support, just go to calibrate.com. I'll put the link in the description. And we got some great products over there for you. And I would love for you guys to support the channel that way as well and get something in return. Anyway, guys, peace out. Take care of yourself. Be safe. And I'll see you next time. Peace.